Have you been rejected or disappointed time and time again? Well, Colonel Harland Sanders did, but he took his failures and didn't just make lemonade. He made the world a better place. So, in this video, we are going to know about the life story of Colonel Harland Sanders, founder of KFC. And by the way, this is truly an inspirational story. So, let's start our video. Hi friends, welcome to our channel AGT Videos. Please use your headphones for better experience. In 1952, at the age of 65, when most people are looking at slowing down and retiring, Colonel Sanders began Kentucky Fried Chicken. We are fortunate that Colonel did not believe in the adage that the future belongs to the young, or we would likely have never tasted the finger-licking fried chicken so many enjoy today. KFC is arguably one of the most widely recognized brands worldwide, and the Colonel is one of the pioneers of modern franchising. Early life. Life for Colonel Sanders started about 3 miles of Henryville, Indiana, where he was born on September 9, 1890, as Harland David Sanders. Sanders was born into a fairly modest family. His father was a farmer who worked at his farm at the time Sanders was born. 5 years after Sanders was born, his father died, leaving the young family to fend for itself. In order to provide for her kids, Sanders' mother was forced to take up work at a tomato canning factory in Henryville. She also sewed clothes for other families. Since his mother spent most of her days at work, little Sanders was left with the responsibility of looking after his younger brother and sisters. Because of this, he had to learn how to cook at a very young age. By the time other kids his age were learning how to ride a bicycle, Sanders was already an excellent cook. Various jobs. Shortly after, at the age of 14, he landed a job as a farmhand near Greenwood, Indiana. The job paid $15 a month and provided him with a place to sleep and something to eat. Initially, Sanders balanced his work at the farm and school. He would get up before dawn, feed the animals, attend school throughout the day, and then come back in the evening to feed the chicken and perform other odd jobs around the farm. After he completed 6th grade, he dropped out of school and decided to work full-time as a farmhand. He would later claim the algebra is what drove him off school. Sanders continued working at the farm until the age of 15. With nothing to do after leaving the farm, Sanders, now age 16, lied about his age and enlisted in the United States Army in 1906. He was sent to Cuba, where he remained for about a year until was honorably discharged from the army. Owing to his short stint in the army, you can bet that he didn't earn the title of colonel in the army. The colonel title came much later in life and was honorary title bestowed on him by 2 Kentucky governors, Governor Ruby Lafon in 1935 and Governor Lawrence Weatherby in 1950. Once he left the army, with the help of his uncle, Sanders found a job as a laborer at the railway. He later advanced to the position of a fireman at the railway. It was while working at the railway that Sanders met a lady by the name Josephine King, and the two got married after a short while. The two of them would go ahead to have 3 children together, a son and 2 daughters. Unfortunately for Sanders, his life as a railway worker would not be long. Sanders was a hot-tempered young man, and after a brawl with a worker, he was fired from this job. During his days as a railway worker, Sanders was taking correspondence courses in law from LaSalle Extension University and had managed to obtain a law degree. Having been fired from the railway job, he decided to put his degree to work and started a legal career as a lawyer in the justice of the peace courts in Little Rock, Arkansas. About 3 years into his legal career, Sanders got into a fist fight with his own client during a court session. Following the incident, Sanders was arrested and charged with battery. Shortly afterwards, Sanders followed his mother to Jeffersonville, where he found a job as a life insurance salesman. However, his poor luck continued following him. and he soon dismissed from the job due to insubordination. After being fired from the life insurance job, Sanders found another sales job and saved enough to start a ferry boat company on the Ohio River. His ferry boat company became an instant success. He sold some shares in the ferry boat company and became the company's secretary. Sanders also took a job as a secretary of the Columbus Chamber of Commerce. However, he felt that he was not very good at this job and he quit in under a year. With the cash from the ferry boat company, Sanders decided to set up an acetylene lighting company with the aim of selling acetylene lamps to farmers. He was short on luck. However, as the spread of electricity and the light bulb made it impossible for him to make any money with his lamps. With his acetylene company out of business, Sanders found work as a tire salesman for Michelin in Winchester, Kentucky. While Sanders was going through all these jobs and rough patches in his career, his family life was not going any better. Unable to stomach Sanders' inability to hold down a job, his wife waited until he was on a business trip and then she sold all their belongings and left with the kids. Sanders managed to convince her to come back, but the two eventually got divorced in 1947. At the age 65, he retired. On the first day of retirement, he received a check from the government for $105. He felt that government was saying that he couldn't provide for himself. He decided to commit suicide. It wasn't worth living anymore. He had failed so much. He sat under a tree writing his will, but instead he wrote what he would accomplish with his life. He realized that was much more that he had done. There was one thing he could do better than anyone he knew, and that was how to cook. The secret chicken recipe. After the Nicholasville service station closed, Sanders was offered the chance of becoming a franchise of the Shell Oil Company. He was offered a rent-free service station in Corbin, Kentucky. As his reputation as a cook spread, demand for his food grew, and he eventually decided to close the service station and set up a restaurant. It was about this time that Sanders was given the title of Colonel by Kentucky Governor Ruby Lafon. The popularity of Colonel Sanders' restaurant grew so much that in 1939, Duncan Hines, a food critic, visited the restaurant and listed it in the Adventures of Good Eating, his guide to restaurants across the country. With the restaurant, Colonel Sanders had another encounter with what could be termed as success. However, bad luck still seemed to be trailing him, and on the Thanksgiving of 1939, his restaurant burned down. Not one to be put down after tasting success, Colonel Sanders rebuilt their restaurant with the seating capacity of 142 customers. At this time, the Colonel was still refining the secret recipe that made his chicken finger licking good. This is the same recipe that is still used by KFC restaurants to this day. After numerous experiments, he found the right balance of pressure and cooking time that sealed the chicken's flavor and moisture and produced soft chicken that was neither crusty nor greasy. The best part was that the chicken would be ready in only 8 minutes. With his secret recipe and his new method of cooking chicken, Colonel Sanders' restaurant flourished for the next decade and considered himself set up for life. Once again, two events happened that jeopardized everything he had worked for in over a decade. In the early 50s, a highway junction that was right in front of his restaurant was moved to another location, significantly cutting the amount of traffic passing near his restaurant. With the announcement, Colonel Sanders knew that his restaurant would not survive. He decided to salvage what he could by auctioning off the restaurant. Unfortunately, buyers knew the business was about to die. The Colonel ended selling the restaurant at a considerable loss. Birth of Kentucky Fried Chicken. By 1964, Colonel Sanders had managed to build a company worth millions of dollars and with over 600 outlets in the United States and Canada. What makes this achievement even more impressive is the fact that he was running a one-man operation. He didn't even have salesmen promoting his franchise. He did it all alone. However, as his franchise got popular, he got to a point where those interested in becoming franchise started reaching out and coming to him, rather than him traveling all over the country trying to convince more people to join the franchise. By this time, Kentucky Fried Chicken still didn't have its own signature outlets. Instead, it was a bunch of different outlets that sold the KFC chicken. Having grown so big, it was inevitable that Kentucky Fried Chicken would attract the attention of predators. When he was 74, a young lawyer from Kentucky named John Y. Brown Jr. and his millionaire patron Jack Massey approached Colonel Sanders with the intention to buy his company. Having put so much work into building the company, the colonel was initially reluctant about selling his company. Brown and Massey talked to the colonel for weeks, trying to convince him to sell the company. The two promised that they would maintain the highest degree of quality control for the franchise and they would never change the kernel recipe. Still, selling the company it had taken him so long to build was not an easy decision for Colonel Sanders. Finally, the colonel realized that the company was growing too huge for him to control alone, and he eventually agreed to sell the company in 1964 for an offer of $2 million, about $15.3 million in today's money. Though he retained ownership of the company's assets in Canada, still it appears like the colonel wasn't truly happy with the deal, considering that he was letting go of the most important thing in his life. Despite selling the company, the colonel's role in the company did not end there. The new owners of KFC believed that the Colonel Face was one of the greatest assets to the KFC brand. They retained him as the brand ambassador and embarked on a huge publicity campaign that saw the Colonel conduct press interviews, appear on the television, and visit various KFC outlets as the company spokesman. For his position as company spokesman and brand ambassador of KFC, the Colonel was given a lifetime salary of $40,000 per year. Even today, the Colonel face as his signature white suit and bow tie remain a central part of KFC branding. In the last 2 decades of his life, he never appeared in the public wearing anything other than his signature white suit. Finally, on 16th December 1980, the colonel passed away from leukemia at the ripe of age 90. The story of Colonel Sanders is a great inspiration, and whenever you feel overwhelmed by all the challenges life throws at you, you should remember the story of this great man. He was sacked from multiple jobs. His wife left him. He messed up his legal career due to uncontrolled anger and aggression. His first restaurant burned down. His new booming restaurant was driven out of business by the construction of a new bypass, but this man never gave up. At the age of 65, when many people would be hanging their boots, he set out and built what has become one of the largest food chains globally. Thank you for watching the video. Hope you like it.